Freestyle Fridays. That means that you ask me your business questions or throw by your ideas. Throw by your ideas. Is that even English? You share your ideas with me on what you want to create in your business, and I will, without a doubt, do everything I can to be able to answer your questions completely free. It's every Friday, Freestyle Fridays, on my 6 a.m. Pacific, 9 a.m. Eastern Coffee with Shanda show. So if you're new to our page, my name is Shanda Sumpter. I am a business coach, and really I'm the founder of a company called Hardcore Business, and we have clients all around the world that are building businesses, they're building audiences, they're figuring out what can best serve their client bases, and they're growing these tremendous empires around the world, and it's super excited to be a part of it. And so I do this 6 a.m. Coffee with Shanda show Monday through Friday, and I do it to really give back and help you grow your businesses and have a place that you can rely on to get up-to-date business hacks and tips, but also to be able to get the mindset that it really takes to be able to grow a business. All right, you guys, so here's what you do. You just share with me what it is you want me to answer. I will read the thread, and then I will repeat the question, and then I will answer the question. So good morning, Deidre, good to see you. Good morning, Risa, good morning, Suzanne. Suzanne said, your house is coming along looking awesome. Yes, so we are building a house right now, and yesterday I did a live at our house. It's so exciting. Awesome. Okay, so will you speak to the difference between consultation, mentor, and coach? Jamie, that's a great question. So a coach, so the difference between a coach, consultation, and a mentor, first of all, they're all very close. So you can have a mentor. A lot of people have mentors that they don't pay, and they're just people in their lives, like my stepdad and even my father at different points in my life have been mentors to me. They've sat down and they've consulted me, and they've been mentors to me. You know, my friend Bedros Kaluni has been a mentor to me at times when he sat down and looked at my funnels, right? So I think that like mentors, you know, don't always end up being someone that you're paying, although they can be, but they tend to be, you know, someone that you consult with to be able to get great, you know, great ideas and great, you know, strategy. Like mentors, they have the wisdom of something greater than what you normally have or what you're trying to accomplish. A coach does not give you any advice. Like the job of a coach is not actually to give you advice. Because the coaching industry has grown massively, a lot of people think that coaching is actually you telling people what to do. And that's not what a coach does. A coach evokes your decisions so that you make the right decisions to be able to play on the team, right? A coach points out the things that are not working in the way that you're showing up, so that you can actually show up and rock it out. But a coach asks evoking questions like, you know, like if you're doing something, a coach might say, like, so for instance, I'll have clients that will come to me, and I have driven clients that, you know, part of the way that they operate is like they're going to do whatever it takes to be successful, and they're typically the ones that hit success much quicker. Then you have another group of people who kind of want to build a business, but really they want to build a job. And the way that I would coach both of them similarly, because I'd be evoking, well, what do you want, right? Like the person who just wants to create a job, they wouldn't want the same plan or even the same coaching as someone who's driven. Someone who's driven is going to want me to, you know, identify what the blocks are and really help them push forward or see how they've got more in them to succeed, which a coach does. A coach believes in you much more than typically you believe in yourself. A coach sees the road to success quicker than you can because they're looking at it from a bird's eye view. But a consultation is more like when you consult, you're actually bringing the plan, you're actually giving advice, and a consultant isn't necessarily trying to evoke whether or not you like it or you don't like it, where a coach is like, it's just more all about you noticing and you making the decision. So I do a mixture of coaching and consulting, where I do give people advice, but I also coach because, you know, at the end of the day, it's really important for people to actually identify where their own blocks are and identify what they want versus me telling them what they want. Does that make sense? I have ideas for everybody's businesses, and I learned a long time ago that if it's all my ideas and not yours, that you won't have what it takes to take it all the way to the finish line. And then, yeah, so I'll just stop there. Mara Dixon Grigsby. I'm working on getting my first paying client for my health coaching business. Congratulations. I set specific hours to see clients, but should I open to working any hours that a client may want in the beginning? So there's going to be, so this is a consulting opportunity, right? So I'm consulting right now. So I believe there's different rules of thoughts to this. So there's the hustle of doing whatever it takes and opening up all of your calendar to do whatever it takes. And I did that hustle. However, from my experience, I didn't explode hardcore until I actually stopped being a workaholic. Is that not funny? Now, that doesn't mean that I don't work hard. If you were to ask anybody in my life, you could ask any of the team players at Hardcore, my husband, who obviously sees me on a daily basis, I definitely work really hard. Okay, so I'm not the coach up here or the mentor up here saying, oh, you can just grow a business and just get a traffic team and just hit autopilot and it will just work. No. Like, that's just, yeah, maybe it'll work for a few, a small dollar amount in life. But it's not going to work for massive impact, right? So Mara, I actually think that like you should choose what days of the week are really, where you're the best to serve your clients, and operate your schedule so that you have the space to really give. Like, if your time frame to open is like this big, then that doesn't work. Like, I coach Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday mornings. That's when I actually open up my time for consultation, for coaching, all of that type of stuff. The last week of every month, I actually have a flex week. And a flex week means I have no appointments, right? Now, saying that, I have 1%ers that if they need me to jump on the phone on Thursday or Friday, I can do that because I don't have any appointments scheduled then. Does that make sense? So it's about how you actually run your calendar in a way that allows you space so that you can keep course correcting but run off rules. So that's what I recommend. I think if you open your calendar 7 days a week or 5 days a week, you don't have any production days. So you can do one of two things. You could say, what are my production days? So production days mean that you have no appointments, you're not expected to be on any calls, you're not leading any trainings, or you're not having to do anything that requires you to be in connection or in communication with anybody in your life for your business. Production days are like, okay, I got to cut videos for emails, I got to write copy, I want to blog, I want to just sit and write my book. Like, those are production days. You can get a lot done in a day. So I would start by, what's your vacation time, believe it or not. And then I would go into, what are my production days so I can work on my business. And then what now do I have available that's very clear that are for my client days. So that's what I would recommend without talking too directly to start at, okay? Denise says, I'm building a different part of my business now, moving from fundraising for charity to business coaching. How do I position that to people without seeming flaky? Honesty. Honesty. I mean, I know that you have a compelling reason, Denise, why you're doing that. Just be honest about it. Honesty converts. I say that all the time. And I remind myself of that all the time. So try to always unloosen the grip of fear in your life anyway, because whenever you're fearful about what other people are going to think, or like in sales feeling pushy, or right now, like changing, like positioning, feeling flaky, if you've got your attention on flaky, pushy, whatever that looks like, then you don't have the ability to show up powerfully or as powerfully as you can. So really ask yourself, why are you doing this? And just be honest with it. Like, if I all of a sudden wanted to, let's say, not coach and just run hardcore, right? Like, just run the company, or just, do media or stages for a year, right? I'm just making this up, totally making it up, right? But I would have a compelling reason. So if I think about that, a reason for me not coaching right now would be so that we could reach more people, right? So I could actually like speak on larger stages wherever they be. And if I wanted to open up international markets, which we're doing right now, so I could actually spend more time maybe in Europe. So that would make it hard for me to be on all of our trainings and things like that. So I'm just totally making this up. Like, so I would share that, Denise. I would say to my clients, I would say to my email list and the public, here's what I'm doing and here's why I'm doing it. And you just have to realize that you're going to always upset some people. But if you're clear about your movement will keep growing. Does that make sense? So definitely don't try and make everybody happy. I know we know that logically, but gosh, we make these decisions that cause us to lose momentum because we're so worried about what people are going to think. Isn't this cute, this cup, heart of gold? I love it. Anyway, as I digress. Okay. Jamie, she said, thanks for defining that piece. This does not give the answer because I'm stuck at I guide steps, but like to make them think they do. Jimmy, I think you might be. I think you're talking about the consulting coach and mentor. Maybe you're trying to figure out what to call yourself, and why don't you just call yourself the founder of the company? So I call myself the founder of Hardcore, and I coach, right? And mentor. So I think you might be getting caught up on the small stuff that isn't worth paying attention to because it's actually not what's going to make you money. So, and it's also not what's going to impact people. So we get so backed up about these things. Do you know that I come up with titles for people inside my company all the time? I mean, you know what I say? What title is going to make you feel good? Do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really matter. It really doesn't. Okay, so Catherine, what type of packages do you recommend for startup coaches starting with private clients, ? So Catherine, so it depends. If you're starting a coaching company and you don't know where to start or what to prioritize, the question now becomes, first, what do you want? Like, what's your priority? So write that down. And that's actually a great decision maker on what you should spend your time on inside your business instead of just burning the wheels and burning the time of a day. Like, have you ever gotten to the end of the day and you're like, I actually got nothing done, but I was busy all day? So I always ask myself, what is my priority? And I ask it the night before and I write it down. This is like funny, right? Like, this is actually what it looks like right now, right? I've got 4 things and 2 of them are delegated that are not on my plate. So 2 things that are important for me to actually handle today. Those are my priorities. I never have a huge list of them because now I'm going to get in busy energy, and for sure I'm going to pick things that are not the real things that are a priority for me. They're probably a lot easier for me to handle, so then my big priorities don't get done. So I always have my big priorities, like here, whether it's on the back of an envelope, which I actually have this belief system: when I write on the back of an envelope, it gets done. Who knows why? And I have that the night before I start every single day. And so now, so for a coach, if you're starting a coaching company, what's your priority? If your priority is like, I really do need to make money, or the lights aren't going to stay on, or this coaching company is not going to get up and going, there's nothing wrong with that, right? Like sometimes we have this mentality, like we have to say it's all about making a difference in the world. And yes, it is. That's essentially like why our biggest meaning inside of us is to be important and make a difference. So that's going to come. If you can't eat, or you can't pay your rent, or you can't like hire people in your company, then you're not going to make a big difference because you're not going to survive. And if you don't survive, who dies because you die, right? And so you know, if money is really important, because some people it's not. Some people they're fine with just making a little bit of money and, you know, spending time in a different area that maybe juices them up more, right? So some people hate the idea of working with private clients. They've been told, don't sell your time for money, right? And all of these coaching messages, they're all great. Like, they're great. Don't sell your time for money because you can't grow. However, if you're starting a business, sell your effing time for money. You know what I mean? Because it brings in a lot of money. The easiest thing to sell is your time. So if you're not good at sales, it would probably be a good priority to sell your time first. If you don't have a full bank account and it's causing you to worry, then sell your private time first. You have to be so careful with the information that you're being fed inside your mind about the strategies that you take, because it's so easy to blindly follow people like me, giving advice through videos. It's so easy to blindly follow us because of the fact that, first of all, we're good marketers. We know what we're doing. We know how to land our messages. We know how to influence. So you have to be responsible with going, what's my priority, right? Like, it's not about making anybody wrong. It's about what is my priority? What is your priority? And then you actually, this is my priority. What would you suggest? That's how you get great coaching from anybody you're coaching with. This is my priority. What would you suggest? So a lot of my clients, their priority is to make money, especially when they first come in our funnel of being introduced to our products and services. A lot of them come in from the fact that they want to be financially free. And so the way we have our systems set up inside of Hardcore is to first build somebody's audience so they actually can make offers to be able to make a lot of money. So back to your question, Catherine. If you want to make money or you need to make money, then I suggest private clients first. It's the easiest to sell. You'll understand the most about what you really enjoy working with people or not, because I don't believe that you really know what you're doing until you at least work with 20 people. So you got to work with about 20 people to be able to understand who's your ideal client. I mean, I love all of us business coaches are like, you got to figure out what your avatar is. Yes, you do. But let me be straight with you, especially if you're a coach, but anything. You don't know what the F your avatar is until you work with enough people. I mean, who I thought my avatar was like completely different from who I work with today, right? Like I thought my avatar was spiritual people who wanted to make a difference in the world. And that is part of my avatar today, but it's a lot more clear today. My avatar is driven people who want to change the world. They have a drive inside them that they've never been able to shut down. They're a bit of a workaholic, meaning that even if they want freedom, they still find themselves behind their computers, listening to webinars, reading books. They're like on a personal development frenzy for years now because they're so clear that they're going to get out of their own way to succeed. That's all part of drive. Right? And so I don't have to pull this person forward. They're going forward no matter what. And then I come in and help them. So that's like my avatar. That's the beginning of my avatar, where none of that drive, which is who I am, like I've always had a drive to succeed. Even when I was busted broke, I always had a drive to succeed. Well, I want to hang out with my people. You want to hang out with your people, right? And so it's so important that part of what we realize we even want is actually working with people. So Catherine, there's a lot of reasons why I really like you working with private people first. So that's the long, short answer of that. You can see different levels of priority that are in that conversation. Okay, so I'm going to answer one more question and then we'll end for the day. Deidre, vacation then production, then time for others. Lines up perfectly with self-care. Yes, the number one goal for this year. Awesome, Deidre. That's super great. If you don't put your vacations in, then they just won't happen. Or they'll happen like last minute and they won't be as juicy as they can. Okay, so I'm actually going to end on that. Here, I'll give one piece about vacations. I would recommend before you go on a vacation that you actually sit down, if it's just you going or if you're going with people that you love, that you sit down with the people that you love and actually write out what would have to happen on this vacation that would make me feel like this would be a 10 vacation, right? And so which has you actually first identify what do you love to do? Like I love to do spiritual things. I love to do active activity like hiking or running or cycling. I love to be active. And I love reading books and I love drinking wine and really good food with friends. Like I love lots of people around me. So knowing that if I was going to book a vacation, like what would make it a 10 vacation is an opportunity to spend time with friends around food or dinner. If I had an opportunity to go hiking or do something physically active, if I got an opportunity to read, like hanging by a pool and reading, I love that. Like I would hate to go to Hawaii and not be able to have some pool time where I sit there and read, right? Like I bring books with me. I even bring books with me when I lead events, like as if I'm going to have the time to do it. And somehow I find the time to do it for just 10 minutes and it gives me fulfillment. So make sure you're looking to make your vacations not just boredom time off that you just waste time. Like just because you go to another country or city or on a vacation, it doesn't mean that it's going to be fulfilling for you. I mean, have you ever gone on a vacation, you actually were bored and you're a little bit pissed off that you spent any money? I've done it, right? So make sure that you sit down and that you know the people you're going with, what their 10 is and what needs to happen, and actually plan out the trip. I know that sounds really strange. I know there's many of us that like to fly by the seat of our pants and see what happens. And maybe that's part of what makes it a 10 for you. And maybe you allow a little bit of space for adventure that's spontaneous, right? But make sure that you're clear about what you and the people that you love that you're going on this vacation with, actually what would make it a 10. That will make it the best vacation of your life. And whether it's 2 days or 2 weeks, you're going to come back feeling like you absolutely want to get back to work because you're full of energy and not because you're actually kind of over the vacation and ready to go home. We all know that, right? Like, I don't want you actually to be ready to go home from your vacation. I want you to be like, that was freaking amazing. And I'm so full of energy and so many great ideas now. I actually want to work versus, the flip side. You know what? About a week was long enough. I'm ready to get back to work. There's only so long I can sit on a beach. Don't do that to yourself. That's not getting the most out of life. All right, you guys, here's to a great weekend. Have a great weekend. It's Freestyle Friday, so we just answer your questions every Friday. So now the weekend is here, and I will not be doing Coffee with Shanda again until 6 a.m. Pacific on Monday. Have a great day. Bye.